It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we're going to be showing you a can of our brand new collaboration beer with Glen Affric Brewery. It's a can of Glen Affric Brewery Real Ale Craft Beer Stone the Gose. It's a blackcurrant, raspberry, cherry and passion fruit Gose, coming in at 5% ABV in a 440 milliliter can. Without further ado, let's get the can out into a glass and see what we get. Nice bit of smoke on the can opening, beer in the glass. Look at the colour. Beautiful pink hue to the beer. Nice carbonation rolling up the side of the glass. We've got a 2-finger, slightly off-white, kind of pinky coloured head going on. Lovely haze to the beer. So far, really pleased. Some of you might have seen the live feed where we drank a couple of cans of this the other night on the Friday Night Live at the Stone the Crows virtual pub. I wanted to do a more in-depth take on this beer, dig around and really, yeah, get into it a little bit more. So, looking great so far. So good. Let's get the aroma. Yeah, and it just brings a natural smile to my face. It really does. I'm so proud of this beer. It's the first Gose I've ever brewed. I think it might be, yeah, the first fruit Gose I've ever brewed. And it's definitely the first Gose that Glen Affric Brewery have brewed. And it's just fabulous. It's just to be able to see your logo on a can of beer with Glen Affric Brewery, such a fantastic caliber of brewer with a great reputation. To see your logo on the can just naturally brings a smile to your face. Yeah, so it's tart, loads of fruit tart flavours coming through. That raspberry, that blackcurrant, that cherry, that passion fruit, all mixing together to give a real jammy tart aroma. Slight saltiness as well coming through from that Gose style. We'll talk about more of that in depth in a moment. Let's dive in. Cheers. Oh, gotta put that down. Beautiful, sour, slightly salty, but ultimately tart. Bomb. It's a bomb of an initial kind of, it flies at you really quickly. All of the flavours, like, it's like bang, 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 they hit you really quickly on the palate. And then what you're left with after, and I've always been impressed with this, whether it's been a lambic, Berliner Weiss or a Gose, is that when them initial flavours hit you for 6, you're left with this subtle, grainy, light, malty, biscuity flavour that just lingers and lingers and lingers, and it's beautiful. I love that aspect of sour beer. I always have. It's like you're getting all the flavour in the beginning, and then you're getting that beautiful malt backbone that every beer is based on. You may not get that lovely kind of light straw biscuity flavour from, say, a double IPA or a New England IPA. I get that. It's all about the hops in the middle and the back end. But it's nice that this Gose style, this sour style, it's like pulling back the curtains of what beer is. And fundamentally, apart from the water aspect of it, the biggest ingredient in beer mainly is the malt. It's the backbone of the beer, and it's like opening the curtains and having a little sneak peek at the malt. I love that. I love that. Really refreshing, really drinkable. Carbonation pushes the beer around the inside of the mouth. Loads of sourness coming through, lots of tartness coming through, little bit of salt. Now, during lockdown, we've picked up a load of new followers. And a lot of the new followers, not everybody, but a lot of the new followers have been contacting me saying they were a mass-produced lager drinker and now they're buying all these different craft beers and whatnot. So you might be one of these new followers watching along to this video thinking, salt in a beer, how does that work? Well, let me explain to you. So the Gose style is a German style, ancient style of beer that has been around for an awful long time, and it was brewed in a region of Germany where the natural water content had a certain amount of salt in it. So when they brewed the beer, it was almost like they came up with this style of beer, this slightly sour, salty beer, because of the water content, and it had become very popular in Germany. Quick history lesson: a bit like real ales and craft beers, if you want to call it craft beer back in the day. I think craft beer is more of a newer term for a beer, certainly the last decade. Same as the Gose, the real ales and the ales, they really fell off. During the 1980s, the 1990s, early 2000s, beer was dominated by great big mass-produced breweries. Probably 4 breweries in the world were serving most of the beer drinkers. They were having a glass of beer from one of 4 breweries around the world, and then out of the ashes, out of the burning embers of what was left of beer, rose the Boston Beer Company, which is the Samuel Adams brand, the Boston Lager, and of course Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. And they spent years trying to convince people to drink their beer and try their beer, and now they're like massive, successful, fantastic brewers in their own right. But they were the spark, that little spark of inspiration to really light up. I think they started back in the 70s as well, which is fascinating. The 1970s, 80s, they really got going and really wanted to brew hoppy beer, and they're the kind of the backbone of all of this kind of resurgence of craft beer, going back all of that, what, 4, 5 decades. You can colorate that. You can take that as well with the Gose style. It fell away. Not many people were drinking it. It was almost forgotten about, and then probably some crazy craft brewer somewhere decided to brew a Gose, and it gained popularity, and now it's where it is today, with a lot of people drink sour beer, a lot of people drink lambics and Goses, and it's brilliant that this style now exists again, and it's booming. It's fantastic, it really is. So I always, when I think about when I'm drinking a Gose style beer, this slightly salty, not overly salty, slightly salty beer, it's not like having seawater in your mouth, that I need a taste. The craft beer and Goses have this similar timeline in which they very nearly got stamped on by big beer, and then slowly but surely they made a resurgence for themselves, and here we are today with this wonderful fruited Gose with blackcurrant, raspberry, cherry and passion fruit. Nice levels of carbonation. Fantastic looking beer. If you want to order the beer, it will be available mid-June towards the end of June 2020, so in a couple of weeks time. I'll put a link in the description box for Glen Affric Brewery's web shop when it's up and live, and then you'll be able to go out and try this beer for yourself, which I hope you do, I really hope you do. There's talk, I've been speaking to the guys at Glen Affric Brewery, there's talk of entering this beer into some kind of competition. It really is a good beer. We think it can do really well. We're going to see if we can get some kind of award for this beer. That would be fantastic. So yeah, let's rate it. I am rating my own beer. I am rating my own beer, and I am very proud of it. But I'm always honest. I promise you, I'm always honest. If this beer turned out to be a bit of a pig's ear, I would tell you about it. I'd be honest and tell you. But I am really, really pleased that this Stone the Gose Gose style beer with loads of different fruits added has really worked. It's hit the button, it's refreshing, it's lovely, it's 5% ABV. I'm going to give it a rating of 9 out of 10. Stone the Gose, 9 out of 10. Please put your comments in the comments box, subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews, give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers!